All right, everybody, Sylvia here. I am in Utah, windy Utah, very near St. George. And where I am camped, I was hoping that I could get my trike out, go for a ride, explore the area. It's on public lands, it's all unpaved, and the winds are so fierce, it was just impossible. And I tried to do the video inside my trailer, and it was still just so loud. I have come to a park. This is a nearby town of Washington, and the winds are much calmer, and I'm going to see if I can't find a quiet place to do a video today. I want to pick up where I left off with my last video talking about touring, and today I want to focus on touring with electric assist. Come on, Myrtle, let's go. All right, yeah, so it's just been so incredibly windy. I left Palm Springs a month ago. I've been in California, Nevada, Arizona, and now Utah, and every day is just incredibly windy. And I think I found a spot at a park that's isolated from the wind, and hopefully there's not too much noise from whatever's happening around me here. And I want to do a video today. I want to extend the conversation that I started last week. And if you want to, I can put a link here so you can take a look at that video. I was talking about touring, and I want to expand that conversation to include electric assist. One of the first points I made in that video was you need to be very comfortable riding on the roads to do touring, whether it's in the United States or anywhere in the world. And in the comment section of that video, somebody argued with me that there is a bike path that goes across the United States. There seems to be a lot of people who are under the impression that Rails to Trails Conservancy has built and maintains a bike path across the United States. And I really want to say it again, there is no such thing. I know they're working on it. There are parts of it that are completed, but there is no bike path that you can take across the United States where you're not going to have any road riding. So the first thing about bike touring is you absolutely need to be comfortable riding on the road and riding in traffic. So a lot of people know that I have done bike touring all over the world with my tricycle. I have gone down the Pacific Coast route 3 times, and I have done it with and without electric assist. The first time I did it with electric assist, I think was 2010, 2011. It was very early days for electric assist. And I went down the Pacific Coast, and then I crossed the United States on the Southern Tier bike route. I got to Natchez, Mississippi, took the Natchez Trace Parkway to Nashville. Then I went to Kentucky, where my sister lived, and I also did some of the Trans Am. This tour was 6,000 miles with electric assist, so I do have quite a bit of experience. Just to kind of give you an idea of where I was coming from at the time, I think I had done 3 tours. I'd been on the road for 3 years, and I was very overweight. And in 3 years, I had not lost any weight. The tour I did before this one with electric assist, I had been in Southeast Asia. I had traveled from Vietnam through Laos, Cambodia, and I ended the tour in Thailand in the very south near Malaysia in the islands. And if you've ever spent any time in Southeast Asia, it is either hot or it's hotter. And I ended this tour in April, which is just before the rains, the monsoons come, and the Songkran festival. It is so incredibly hot that I just decided that if I wanted to keep touring, which I did, I was going to have to do something because I was just suffering too much. And that is why I added electric assist. Another thing that I did on this tour was I joined Weight Watchers, and every town I would come to, I would check the schedule to see if there was a meeting, and I would kind of go to meetings the entire way through this 6,000-mile tour. I ended up losing a lot of weight, just about 100 pounds, and that trike, my Greenspeed GTO with the electric assist, I had lost so much weight in my rear end that it was too big. Like my feet couldn't fit the pedals anymore. I couldn't bring the boom in anymore, and I ended up selling the whole thing and buying the trike that I have now, my HP Velotechnik Scorpion FS20. And because I really wanted to do touring anywhere in the world, I decided not to add electric assist. I have since, in the last 2 years, added electric assist to this trike. I have the Shimano Steps E8000. It's a 250 watt motor. It has 36 volt, 10 amp hour batteries, and this is a motor that is welded, designed, spec'd for this trike, and it's built into the boom. So you take out the boom without electric assist and you put this one in. And there are some things that you need to know about electric assist with touring. One, the real trick, which I have not yet figured out how to get around, is you cannot get these batteries on a plane. The biggest battery you can take on a plane is for a laptop. So you need to figure out how to get your battery to the start of your ride. And I have yet to figure out how to do that and guarantee that my battery is going to be there at the beginning of the ride. And at the moment, I feel like it's really safe to do touring in the United States. I'm not convinced it's as safe to do it out of the United States. I keep wanting to do a tour in Europe. And with COVID, there's so many restrictions and they keep changing, and there's so many countries and everybody has their own rules. Now there's the war in Ukraine, just a lot of uncertainty, and I kind of feel like I'm going to wait for a couple of years. But in the United States, I think it's perfectly safe and a very good time to think about doing a tour. Electric assist is probably the biggest thing that has ever happened in the cycling world. It is definitely here to stay, and their attitudes toward it have completely changed. I know when I first started using electric assist, this is 10, 12 years ago, people were adamantly against it. They thought it was cheating, you're not getting exercise. And now, I would guess going down the Pacific Coast, if you're going to be touring that way, probably more than half of the people you meet are going to have electric assist. And one of the things I think is really great about the Pacific Coast route is the campgrounds are spaced perfectly. You have a guaranteed spot. They cannot turn you away. It's only $7. The food, the coffee, anything you could possibly need as a touring cyclist is on this route. The views are epic. You're going to meet people from all over the world, and you're going to come into these hiker-biker sites, and everybody is going to have stuff that needs to be charged up. For sure, everyone's going to have a phone, probably a GPS, and I'm going to guess a lot of the people camping in the hiker-biker are going to have electric assist. Most of the hiker-biker sites will have just a couple of outlets. For a long time, hiker-biker didn't have any electricity. Now they've started putting in bear boxes that have a couple of outlets. Those are going to be taken really, really soon. Probably people would frown on taking up these outlets for many, many hours it takes to charge up your electric assist batteries. And so I have a couple of suggestions for that. One, I really highly recommend going down the Pacific Coast that you use a solar panel and a small battery, a battery pack big enough to charge up your phone and your GPS, and then you don't need to use the outlets in the hiker-biker or the bathroom. You can use this battery and charge it up overnight, and it'll be ready to go in the morning. For your electric assist, I highly recommend going out of the hiker biker into the regular camping area and finding some RV people. RV people are a tremendous resource for anybody bike touring. And on the outside of every RV, there are 2 grounded outlets. On sites that have electricity, there's a pedestal, and the RVs are going to be either using the 30 amp service or the 50 amp service, and there's going to be 2 outlets on that pedestal that are going to be empty. I've never had anybody in an RV even hesitate to help when I explain that I'm riding an electric assist bike and I just need to charge up my battery. And you'll explain to them that this battery takes a long time and that you're going to come back for it. And what's nice is you don't have to bother anybody because you're going to be charging it outside. It's just going to be sitting out there, and you're going to come back and pick it up when you're ready to go to bed. And that way, everything that you need to do is going to be done, and you can go to sleep and be ready for the next day. I have picked a funny tree. It's like a cottonwood tree or something, and it's kind of snowing here as I'm talking. Now, as you go down the Pacific coast, there are a few campgrounds that have no electricity. One of them is fantastic. Do not miss it. It's on the Avenue of the Giants. You're camped in the redwood forest. Oh my gosh, it's just absolutely fantastic. But none of the sites have electricity except for one. Almost all campgrounds have a camp host, and the camp host always has electricity. Just like any other RV, they're going to have a pedestal. They're going to be using either 30 or 50 amp service. On the outside of their RV, there's going to be 2 grounded outlets. Again, I have never had anybody tell me no. And so aside from being able to charge your battery, the other big concern is how far can you get on your battery? How many miles can you go before you need to charge it up? This is a really big topic. People have just an incredible range of miles that they say they can get out of their batteries. If you go to a showroom, you look at a trike that has electric assist, the manufacturer specs will probably say you should expect 60 miles of range out of this battery, and you have no idea how they achieved that number. People online, what was the road conditions? What were the weather conditions? What was the speed? What power level were they using? How big is their battery? There are so many variables. You don't know what kind of climbing that they were doing. And so it's really important that you know the range for you. What is the capacity of your battery for your style of riding, for the motor that you have, and what's the upper limit? And again, that's an upper limit, so you kind of want to stay below that. Just like in the last video, I'm going to recommend that you do a day or 2 of hill climbing with your electric assist. You're going to want to do this one of 2 ways. You're going to use a cycle computer that has an altimeter and a barometer so that it will keep track of the feet of climbing and the percent grade of the hill that you're climbing. Or you're going to do a hill and you just happen to know what the elevation is for that hill. You're going to go up and down, up and down, up and down. And 2 things are going to happen. One, you're either going to run out of battery, and then you're going to look down at your cycling computer and you're going to see how many feet of climbing you were able to do in that battery. Or you're going to get to a certain place and your body is just going to say, you know what, I can't go any further. Both of this is excellent information because you don't want to be out there on the road trying to get someplace and your body just says, I can't go anymore. I've done as much climbing as my body can handle. You are going to know exactly how much climbing you can do in a day. You can look at the elevation profile. This is why I recommend using the adventure cycling maps or having that information so that you can plot your course based on the elevation profile rather than the number of miles. It is so easy to say, oh, everybody does however miles it is, and so I should be able to do that, and you may not be able to do that. I know that I'm a really slow cyclist, and over time I had to learn that 3,500 feet of climbing is the most that I can do. Now, when I am using my electric assist, I have a certain level, a power mode that I'm really comfortable in. On the Shimano Steps E8000, there are 3 power modes. I really like being in the second mode, and it's also really important to have a very clear idea of how you want to ride. For me, I was such a slow cyclist without the electric assist. I didn't need to be fast, I just wanted to be faster. My climbing speed without electric assist is 2.5, 3 miles an hour, and I wanted to climb at 5 to 8 miles an hour. This is a huge improvement, but it's not super fast. You may want to go a lot faster. You may be capable of going a lot faster. Your body may be stronger than mine, and you want to do this exercise going up and down the hills at a comfortable pace. Try not to push yourself beyond what's comfortable. You're going to be out there riding, touring, you know, doing a lot of climbing, and you want to make it comfortable. You don't want to stress your body too much. And so by the end of this exercise, you're going to know what power level you really like traveling in, and you're going to know how fast you want to go, and you're going to know how much elevation you can handle in a day. For touring, I really recommend having 2 batteries, and I've got a number of reasons for this. I think it's really common that people have their battery installed under the seat on the right side. I also have my side seat mount bag, which I really like having. It has all my valuables, my camera, my wallet, my phone, and whenever I stop, maybe to use the bathroom, stop for coffee, go to the grocery store, I can easily take that bag with my most valuable possessions with me. I don't have to leave them on the trike. But when you're riding, and where you're going to feel this the most is when you're going downhill and you're making a sweeping right-hand turn. You've got the camber of the road, which is also kind of making you feel a little bit tippy. And so adding a second battery on the left side is going to really help with weight distribution. Another reason is I think it's really common after a ride that you would always plug in your battery regardless of how much battery you have used up. You just want it to be ready for the next day. If you have a second battery, you can let that first battery really run out, and you're going to get much more life out of that battery. It's pretty common that the life of a battery is for 1,000 charges, and you are going to see that your battery capacity is going to start to go down. If you have a second battery, you can run it down and then you can switch the battery. I was able to get 45 miles at 12 miles an hour, 3,500 feet of climbing on a single battery. It was very unusual that I needed to dip into that second battery when I was touring, but it's really nice to have that peace of mind. So you are very confident you're going to get where you're going because you've got that second battery. It has happened where I'll get where I'm going and there is no electricity. One place, there was a power outage. There was no electricity anywhere. I didn't have anything to worry about. I had that second battery, and then I was able to charge up both batteries when I got to that second day's destination. So these are the things that I wanted to talk about in this video about touring with electric assist. I think it's totally doable, particularly in the United States. And I really just wanted to give you tools so that you know how far you can get on each battery. How are you going to charge up that battery when you get to your destination, and to give you my recommendations for having a second battery. And hopefully this is enough tools so that you will feel confident going out touring, that you will get to your destination and find a safe place to spend the night. So please let me know what you think about all this. Leave a comment in the comment section below. As always, I love hearing from everybody. Like, share, subscribe, be safe, be healthy, and I'll see you next time.